sort of the center of the campus. It doesn't really function that well for that, but that's where it's located, essentially. And so in terms of circulation, one of the things that I warrant you again, this is our building we're in right now, the R building. We want to look at the entry points in the campus, which are here and here. This would be the primary entry because usually as you come up the hill, you miss this one. And so you end up turning, unless you already know, unless you're going this direction. Usually end up turning into this entry point. And these are really the only two entry points into the campus, you know, are here and here. So as you come in here, then, this being the primary parking lot, we want to begin to develop some major axes of orientation coming through this parking lot, coming back into the campus, here, and then from the bus stop location, have another primary axis again that goes across the campus and then connects back. And they all connect back into this central courtyard area here that we're developing. Okay?
So you factored topography in your analysis?
Oh yes, definitely. Because this site, there's a few topographic issues that you dealt with here. That's another thing too. Obviously, ADA is a big issue on this campus, and how you move around this campus and meet the ADA requirements. And there are a couple ways you can do that. Obviously, you have ramps and all those kinds of things, and elevators. But you can also use buildings as you transitions to get up and down on different levels of campus. Which is another thing that we've been looking at is this as part of our plan as well. And the overall master plan for the campus we're looking at now is that we're talking about, number one, back up a moment, is taking down the A building. So we're talking about demolishing the A building. And part of the reason for that is the A building has such a cacophony of different uses going on in that building that I don't think it really has an identity. Number one, it's not good space, as we've talked about before, Dan, in terms of what is good space and useful space. It has art in there, it's got child development in there, it's got a gym in there, it's got a, I mean, it seems like anything else you didn't have a place to put it, you stuck it in there. And so the building, as a result, kind of lost its way, essentially. And it's also not a very good building in terms of its physical structure and how it's going to function for you as a learning environment. And so as a result, one of the first decisions is to take this building down and then use this area as a development zone for new buildings that are going to be coming up. And also, it also begins to address some of the need for the excess space that you have. Okay, so and particularly since you're going to get some new buildings, it's best you need to get rid of some other building on campus to make space for the new buildings that are coming on campus as well. And so some of the ideas are, the new allied health building would go in this location. Currently, this is the library, right here. And then we're looking at the area adjacent to that for the allied health building, where the A building previously was in this location right up in here, where the A building was. So it's taking over part of the area where the A building is, but closer into the library location. We're also showing on here the potential for another development zone over here as you get off in this area here, where we would put in either an auditorium or a theater building of some type, and then over here would be the new child development building. And I'll go through the phasing in a little bit. But this building has been approved essentially by the state, if it ever gets money, for funding to put in a new child development program building. And so that's one of the ones that's in the program for this campus, as well as the new allied health building, which is currently in the program for this. So you have two new buildings that are pretty much online for coming on board as part of the process for this development here on campus. And those are the two that really are, as we say, real projects, essentially, right now. And there's some modernization projects that are going to be occurring as well. So, and this is the new building. So we're looking at the new entrance. We've cut a new entrance over here. And we're talking about the redevelopment of this zone over here as well, with some sort of new developments that are going to occur on that side of campus. And then we have a few images for how some of this might develop. This is up Campus Drive with the two entrances and some new major entry points here, as well as this would be the new auditorium sort of theater building that would occur over there. This is looking at it from the Allied Health building, the new Allied Health building. If I back up, I want just to orient you a little bit. What you see is this building right here. And what we're showing is we're obviously revising all of this. Right now you've got the little drop-off area here for the accessible parking. And we're actually, what you see in that rendering is looking at right here, looking at this new walkway that's being developed, that's connecting down to this area right in here, okay? So this is the new Allied Health building. This is the new building here. Some new markers, the drop-off area in the front. This building then is a step building because obviously you've got a hillside that's dropping down. So this building would be higher on this end and it would step down as you go down. And the building itself, as well as having the ramps and steps along the side, the building itself becomes a method of moving from this upper level through the building down to the lower level, get you down to where the lower level is, where the D building currently is located. This is another courtyard that we're looking at developing as well. Part of the thought with this is that in this area, there's a potential for some student housing. And so we're looking at the back side of this is to develop another courtyard area that's in this area right here. On the side of the D building, we have the parking and you have the student housing section beyond it. And so this is what this scheme is looking at, is a development of that new courtyard area. And it gets the parking and then beyond that is this would be a student housing complex. There's your pool.
Nice.
Now, don't say, he said you're going to get a pool. Because I don't know about that. But this is we've located an area for that, and we've looked at how the possibility of that could occur with the Merritt pool, if it ever meets it. And then this is looking at the new quad area.
Why don't you
Where's
stay
the pool
with the
at?
pool?
Oh, go back to the pool? Oh,
Yeah,
okay. I was trying to go past the pool.
See, there is some suggestion that if we do a pool, that we cover it up, such that you're able to use it year round. So that is part of the discussions that is being done right now.
Where's that on the site?
Yeah,
Right there. Right there.
so
Behind the D building?
Oh,
Behind the D building?
That's where it's,
And that's where it's originally designed to be.
oh, okay.
That's part of the original design scope in that same location.
Can you talk about the new student center
Yeah.
behind it?
Yes, I will.
And I was just curious how the decision was made to put the child development program there.
Okay, it's not a final decision. This is a proposal. These are recommendations that we have. And the rationale behind it, however, is that we're trying to organize it in relationship to the new child development, to the existing child development center. It seems like there should be some synergy between them, between those, because you've got a child development program here where you're teaching people child development. You have a child development center here. Currently, the two programs already talk a lot. I know there's some relationship, but what we think should be happening is that this child development center should really be a model child development center. And you go to a place like UCLA, for example, their child development center there is the child development program uses the child development center as their learning lab. And that is a model program for all through LA because there's the synergies there. You've got a child development program that's one of the best in the area. So your child development center should be one of the best in the area. And the students and faculty of the child development program should be the ones making sure that what is done in the child development center, and again, this is conceptually, it meets the kind of programmatic requirements that you guys are setting down for the students.
Right.
The issue of site. No, look,
I'm sure there's
the
one more to it, yeah.
The issue of site is going to be worked on between the college and Knoll and Tam Architect. So that's a different progress going on.
Okay, because we have been in contact and communication with them, and that was a big
Yes.
discussion that instructors from that department and decided intelligence security.
Yeah, I know there's been some discussion about that this building was going to go over here somewhere, I think, on the other end of campus.
Right, but it's not really that far from
Yeah.
where it is now. But I don't want to take up anybody's time to talk about something very specific stuff.
Yeah. And then let's talk a little bit more about some of the moves we talked about programmatically too. in response to some discussion about the student survey